Hi. Today, when I was talking to my daughter, um, we were talking about freedom, and one of the things it's like the definition of freedom, according to the dictionary. It says that the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants. The other thing is the state of not being imprisoned or enslaved. But one of the things that we were talking about, it's like, yes, we have the right to act, think, or say as we want. But with freedom comes also the responsibility of the effects of that right, of enacting that right. What do I mean by that? For instance, as a husband and a father, um, I struggle sometimes in knowing when I'm using my freedom and when I'm uh, taking the freedom of my family. What do I mean by this? It's like this. As a father, um, I end up taking the freedom of my daughter whenever I think that she makes a mistake or she's about to make a mistake. I will basically um, impede her, or I will stop her of doing something, or if she does, I will basically cut some of her rights. That way, um, I end up teaching her that that's not the way for her to go. With my wife, sometimes I also cross the line, and I take her freedom. It's not because I want to do it, it's simply because sometimes I don't realize how, how close I am from that line. For instance, because in many things we agree, there are points that we don't disagree, or that we disagree, and when it comes to those things, sometimes I take for granted that she will think or act according to what I'm thinking, or that or the way that I want to act. I think that she will do that, and then I noticed that after I crossed that line, I just hurted her, and this is what I mean by we have the rights, but we have also the responsibilities. We need to be responsible for our actions. When we take one action, because we are free of doing whatever, when we take one action that hurts just us individually, it's okay. We can deal with it. But when we start to hurt other people, it's not just us ending up to deal with the consequences of our actions. Um, we end up putting others in same position to deal with the consequences over what we did or what we said or what we thought and stuff like that. So, in the end, we took their freedom of choosing. We decided already for them, so they were not free to do things as they wanted or they wished for. So, that's why usually I say that our freedom ends where the other person's freedom starts, and we are just bound. Our boundaries, it's just between us and the next person. That's the boundary that we have, the freedom of the other person. We cannot cross that. Whenever we cross it, they are not free to choose whatever they want. So, us as a society, we think that we have just rights. We have the right to say whatever we want. We have the right to act however we want. We have the right to think as we want. But what about other people that we will influence or that will suffer consequences of our usage of our freedom? We need to be very careful when we say we can do whatever we want or we can think whatever we want, because other people's freedom may be compromised by our freedom. So that was just a thought, and that's something that I was debating with my daughter.